Tommy in the morning, hosting in Logo Masali and in Teatro Sali as well. But for now, I'll be the moderator for this discussion. And my hat is now as the chairperson of Finnish Philippine Society, or Philippine Seora. I am also a PhD researcher, and my topic is about the recruitment of Filipino nurses to Finland. And my idea is to think about it in terms of ethical, sustainable, and anti-racist recruitment practices. It's a hot topic in Finland nowadays, right? And not just with Filipino nurses. A lot of nurses coming from overseas are being recruited to Finland. So I hope that we all would learn a thing or two in this conversation. And of course, I won't be alone here because disclaimer, I am not a nurse, right? People are asking me, so why are you so interested with the nurse experience? And that is because it's a very typical thing for a Filipino mom, meaning my mom, who would want their kid to study nursing. And my mom is one of those moms. She's still disappointed in me. She said she will take it to her grave that I did not become a nurse. And now that I'm doing a PhD research about Filipino nurses, it's apparently not enough. Right? It's apparently not enough. So, with me here would be two of, I think, we had really interesting conversations together, and I hope that we will be able to share that with all of you here. And we'll see later on if we can take one or two questions from the audience. But we talk too much. So if we won't have enough time, then of course feel free to talk to us after the session as well. So let's first start with the introduction, right? Let's introduce ourselves, right? So I have here Jam, Espada, maybe you should start.
Okay, thank you, Meg. Thank you for that very warm introduction and sharing the Filipino mom's dream to every kid that at least one of us will be a nurse, because it's a sure thing that we will go abroad. And here we are in Finland, speaking in Integration 2024. So I'm Jame Espada. I'm a registered nurse here in Finland. I restudied Lahi Hoitaya and Sairan Hoitaya. One of my teachers are here. Nice to see her. And I'm holding the hat of BIBAK Suomi. So what is BIBAK Suomi? So we came from a certain, during the recruitment process before Corona, we were recruited from a certain specific part of the Philippines, from the North Philippines. And there are a lot of us here. Like right now, there's 500 of us, and most of us are nurses and our families are here. And fortunately, most of us now are naturalized Finnish citizens. So we're thriving, we're surviving, and I represent those voices of those Filipino nurses and my same tribe, same ethnic group, who are here right now, who have different struggles, not just with education, but also the struggles in working as a nurse. So I'll be speaking in their behalf, and those a lot of the immigrant nurses I've met along the way while I'm working here as a nurse here in Finland. So I'll pass the mic to Arthur.
Thank you, Jam. Now Arthur.
So hi everybody, I am Arthur Jimeno. I am also originally from the Philippines, a registered nurse there. Moved to Finland, also studied Lahi Hoitaya or practical nursing, and studied registered nurse here. And then I studied also business administration here. Currently, I am a registered nurse in one of the company. And at the same time, I was a previous international human resource coordinator. So some of the points were in the recruitment processes was actually one of my field, not really an expert, but did had a experience towards that. And it's nurses all over the world coming to Finland. So Indians are also upcoming now. We have also from Africa are coming over, and the Filipinos are also. So there you go. I will be representing them and what are my thoughts and views about the processes and other experiences we've been together.
Yes, thank you, Arthur. And I would actually say that yes, you are an expert, right? Yes. All right. So first question, you already mentioned that you moved here. I think before we can talk about the experiences in Finland, it would be good for us to kind of have an overview as to what were your professional experiences before you moved to Finland. I am interested. Are you all interested to know as well? Yeah? So let's, can you tell us about your work life in the Philippines? Before we talk about Finland part.
Well, it's hard to answer that question not mentioning my age. Let's press the time machine. So yeah, in the Philippines, I'm already a registered nurse. I have my Master's of Arts in Nursing. I've graduated as a Master's Art degree in nursing holder in the Philippines. And I've worked in the multiple fields in the Philippines. But before moving here, I'm a university instructor in one of the top universities in the North. I have a lot of students, previous students here in Finland who's working as nurses. So I'm a university instructor, a nursing university instructor, and I've been assisting these students to fulfill their dreams, just like your moms.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my experience before moving here, and I was given the chance also to at least work for a year in Australia. So at least before moving here in Finland, I have an idea what it is like to be an international nurse before
Yes.
moving to Finland. So that's an experience that I could gladly share with you. Yeah.
Yes, thank you. And what about you, Arthur?
Yeah, I was a registered nurse in the Philippines for 2 years, and then I work in an international company, and then I moved to Finland. So
Yeah.
here we are. Not
Yes.
really a lot of experience in the Philippines, but yeah, did the nursing field as well there.
Yeah, and registered nurse as
Yes,
well.
true.
Yes. So just to give you a brief background about the Philippine educational system. So nurses study 4 years. After high school they have to study 4 years, and after the 4 years it's very different because in Finland once you graduate you can practice, right? It's automatic. In the Philippines you have to take the board exam, and the board exam preparation will take about a year or
Yes,
maybe
yes.
less. Yeah, but more or less a year before you can even work. All right, so they're being tested before they can have the.
So, like here in Finland, you have the Valvira. So automatically they give you the registration. But in the Philippines, there's also a Valvira, but it's called APRC, Professional Regulatory Board,
Yeah.
wherein they give you a certain exam. It's about 2 days for the nurses and 5 days for the doctors. And then once you're able to finish and pass the exam, and that's the only time you can fully work as a nurse or a doctor.
In addition to that, the passing rate is normally below 50%. So it's not automatic that once you graduated nursing,
It's
you will
very
work
tough.
immediately as
Yeah.
a nurse. No, some of us took the test 2 or 3 times before they started working as a nurse. And that's a stark difference here in Finland, because here in Finland, once you graduate nursing, automatically you just apply for Valvira and then you will wait for your license to practice. But in the Philippines, you need to pass in order for you to receive the license. And then that's the time you can call yourself as a registered nurse.
And that is actually one of the reasons why I didn't want to take nursing, because of the board exam. Because I don't think I'll be able to handle that. So kudos to all of you, all the Filipino nurses who are here as well, because I know and I've witnessed how tough the preparations and the exams are. There are thousands, tens of thousands of nurses or nurse graduates who take the board exams, and only half of them will pass. That's how tough the educational system is in the Philippines. Now, this is the interesting part, because we're all in Finland, right? So, and we all know that the Filipino nurses are one of the best in the world. There's a lot of, if you Google Filipino nurses, you would really say globally competitive nurse, right? They're the most caring, the most professional, and that's the marketing thing that's been going on all over the world. Everybody wants to have or to recruit a Filipino nurse. So there are choices for nurse graduates, right? So let's now move to Finland. It takes a lot of decision and, choice of moving here. and for me, of course, it's very different. Like the reason why I moved here is very different. But of all the possible choices and countries that you can go to, like somewhere warm maybe, less, they're more light, you know, maybe, right? Why Finland? Maybe that's the burning question that everybody has, right? Do you agree with me? Yes, okay, so why Finland? You know what to answer?
You don't like to answer it?
You go first.
Yeah, it's a nice question, right, to everyone. But it's a question that you can never answer. But actually, the one who's moving is morally wants to tell it to everyone that I hope I did not choose Finland. Instead, Finland chose me. And I hope is this message echo to everyone that because we are the best nurses, and I would like you to tell me that I would like you to be here and be part and take care of me or take care of my parents, of my uncle who's sick, who has a cancer, who's suffering, and so on and so forth. And I hope that we are here because you want us and you need us and you join us to work together to make the integration better. So I don't like to choose of saying that, oh, I choose Finland because it's the happiest or because it's more
Happiest country in the world.
or whatever this marketing strategy that we have all over the internet or social media. So I hope it's more of like you telling me that you need me or you want me. And I know all the Filipinos on my back are wishing the same thoughts.
Excellent answer, I have to say. I want to give them a round of applause. Because we all agree, right? We need them rather than they need us. Because clearly, right? If there's a tropical country, right? Okay, go ahead, Jam.
Oh, because Finland chose me, Char. that's a very hard answer to follow. But for me, I'll just share my experience. Finland, why Finland? It's a small country. Everybody, when I said I'm moving to Finland or I'm hired as a nurse in Finland, everybody asked me, where is it? Because it's a small country with 5 million population and it's not known globally. When you say Filipino nurses, you should go to the States, to the Middle East, to Australia, to Great Britain, where English is easier to transition because our learning language is English. But for me, I chose Finland because of the generic answer. Being part of the LGBTQ community, I know that it's easier to transition, it's easier to have our rights better, and the rights here are smooth. Secondly, it might sound weird, but before moving here, 4 years before moving here, I had a dream that I'm living here in Finland. So Finland chose me in a dream. Finland showed that, oh my God, I need you. So come to Finland. But as much as I want to laugh about it, I had a dream that I live in Finland, and suddenly the opportunity came. And
It's a sign.
Yeah, and I applied and I came. And I don't want to say that I have made that it's a regret, but I'm always hopeful that there's always good things here in Finland, working as an international nurse or as an immigrant nurse. Yeah.
All right. Now you mentioned that because you know it's also something that we really need to. I mean, as a society, we need to reflect on that, right? How are we welcoming? You know, and when it comes to integration, most of the integration, because we're in Integration 2024, we're not in the Filipino Nurses Forum,
Yeah, exactly.
right? We're in Integration 2024. So when we talk about Integration 2024, then let's talk about integration. Most of the integration programs and projects are targeted towards migrants so that they can adapt to the Finnish society, right? That is the main concept. If you've seen many sessions in this event, that is about that. How to make sure that they adapt, how they learn the language, etc., etc. So let's talk about integration now. How do you define it? Because your case is different from those who came here through family reunification, for example, because you were recruited, you were chosen, you have undergone the process of learning the language and going through all the hoops to get to Finland, right? So how would you define integration?
Integration is a very hard thing to define. When I came here in Finland, I just started working and then just paying the tax, they're contributing. But I suddenly realized when my friends are getting married and their families are coming here, we don't have the support system in which we learn about, oh, what are the services that we need to have? What are the services that we can offer to other people? And that's the challenging part, because for me, integration is not just being there, but also being involved in the community. Because if you're not involved, you're just being left behind. And you will feel invisible. And that's my feeling right now. I feel invisible because I'm just paying, I'm just contributing my tax, resources, talents, and skills.
Thank you for your taxes.
No, but it feels like it needs more in where you can feel that you're part of the community and society, and not just for me, it's for the next generation. And that's what I want here for us nurses, because whether we hate it or not, we will be here to stay. The laws here, the integration system is made to have nurses. And that's what's happening right now. And we're feeling that we should have like more open services. I know that it's improving, but we need more so that our kids will not be left behind, so that it will not be a repetition of our experiences right now. And that's my feeling, because I came here on a Friday and I started working on a Monday. I didn't even have time to breathe the Finnish air. So imagine 2 days in Finland and tax I'm paying. So that's my experience, and that's what I want the integration would be. Because right now that I'm representing a lot of Filipino nurses, I want that their kids would adopt as less difficult as we are adopting right now, because right now we're still lost. How about you, Art?
Yeah, to kind of like wrap it off, for me, like integration is looking on it, it's two-way. It's objective and subjective, right? When you talk about objective integration, it means I came here, I collect my tax number, I will start paying, I will drive because I have a driver's license, and so on and so forth. That's one way of integration. Yes or
And
no?
the job.
Yes, and the
yeah.
job. I have a
And
job,
language.
so you are integrated. But subjectively is to start on the first point where I'm pointing out that I hope that you chose me to come here. You're welcoming me because I will be part of your society. And the subjective part is a challenge to bridge between the two parties. The person who's integrating and the society where they're integrating to. So I hope you do the job and we do the job. And I know it's not easy. Of course, it takes time. It takes a lot of effort for both parties. But as we talk today, it's improving every day. And we are responsible of not stopping just because they have a job already.
Can I add on that?
Yes.
Because the word, they have a job, and that's something that's very forgotten. Because of this organization, I started to be involved in a lot of NGOs and looking for opportunities that I can share to my fellow immigrant nurses friends. And it's so hard to find support when you have a job, because I think sometimes integration here in Finland feels for me that once you have a job, you're integrated, which I think it's quite wrong in a sense. Because
And it doesn't, you did not qualify for that because
Yeah.
you came here with a job.
yeah, so it feels like, okay, we're just here to work, but how about our kids? How about our
Yes, and excellent answers. What you think, right? Right? And I hope that people who are working in the integration field would really reflect on this. But let's talk about, I know we have very little time left, but I would like also to, if you can choose like 1 or 2 challenges that you can point out and maybe explain briefly that you've encountered in the work life. Because, you know, as part of your integration, I think your integration process happened mostly within the working environment, right? How is it for you? And particularly since both of you are highly educated nurses, right? And you had to study nursing again in Finland so you could get your license. So maybe you could raise like 1 or 2 challenges that you can think of about what you've experienced here.
I think I would rather give suggestions for potential employers, for bosses who are here or who have employees. The first one, I think, is the continued support for languages. I think that's something lacking. I know that Varha is doing something right now, but encouraging your workers to continue improving their Finnish language skills and embracing their kiriakieli Finnish language skills. Before I came here, I only have like around 8 months to learn the language. And immediately I was thrown to Turku with Turun Muret. My first week, I have a very bad that these bosses, SMEs, would continue supporting the language or give incentives so that Filipino immigrant nurses would continue learning the language and improving their skills because it's very crucial in working in the healthcare field. And that's one thing. And secondly, something that I've observed but that is improving, that if a company wants to hire an immigrant nurse, they should already be prepared. Based on my experience talking with a lot of Filipino nurses who just came here, the bosses are not even aware what are the needs of their new employees, which is kind of difficult. I'm just lucky because I had a very open boss, but not everyone is lucky. And they are being left behind because the bosses are not aware themselves how to handle with immigrant nurses. So those are the things that could help in the integration, that they're not just there to work, but they're just there to be part of the society and contribute to the Finnish healthcare system.
What about you, Ar?
So recently I'm reading a textbook, it's Gapology, and one of them is, part of it is IMBAR, so I is identity, M, mindset, A, B, behavior, A, action, and resolution. So on my point of view on what she was saying was, I is, for example, identity. We would like to identify that Suomen is important in this country. Now, M is the mindset. They're not even given a chance to use it or to train. So I think the mindset is where Finnish people...
It's not bad to invest in immigrant foreign nurses because in the end, everybody of us will benefit. So invest on us.
Excellent. A round of applause, please.
In short, give us more. We need more, please. We need more funding. No, to add on that, I think we really need to work together. Please bring the lights towards to these people. We would like to hold the torch that lights and illuminates to everyone, because we need you and we need everyone to participate. Thank you.
That's very interesting that also what you mentioned and both of you mentioned invest, right? Because nowadays, we are actually, Finland is actually investing into the recruitment. Do you agree?
Yeah.
Right? Right? We are investing in that process so that we will have more internationally educated nurses in Finland, right? So investment does not end in recruitment.
Exactly.
Investment should actually be continued on even more when they are here. Because if we want them to stay, remember, they have options.
Yeah, a lot of our stuff.
Right? So the last bit of this program, because we only have 5 minutes left. In the Philippines, we have this very popular talk show host, and I'm kind of like emulating that person, but I think I'm failing. Like, there's a lot of Filipinos here, so maybe, they would tell me later on, you failed miserably. But that talk show host actually has always ends the show with fast talk. And I'm gonna do that now with these pieces of paper. So, you will sauna or ice swimming?
Sauna.
Sauna.
Alright? Salmiakki or fatser chocolate?
Chocolate.
CNN, Fatser.
Yes! Finnish food or Filipino food?
Filipino food.
Filipino food, sorry. My tongue became Filipino.
Alright, this is more controversial. Working with Finns, just Finns, or working with an international or a more international team?
International team.
International team.
Alright. Okay, let me see where's the
Including
next question.
Finnish though, right?
Yeah, I agree.
Just to clarify that.
Yeah, because it's our current right now. In my workplace, it's in international, and Finns included.
Yes.
All right. Learning Finnish or learning Swedish?
Finnish.
Finnish, no going back.
You already
Swedish sounds
invested a
good
lot.
though.
Yeah.
Swedish sounds good, but Finnish is us.
Yes. Do you speak Finnish?
Kilabahan. It would be a joke that we're employed in nursing and we don't speak Finnish, so we do.
But as Finnish says, to be nice, me paremme.
Yes. Do you have a Finnish citizenship?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. And last question, very controversial. Are you planning to live and work in Finland permanently or for as long as you live?
I still have doubts.
It depends on them.